My wife is a mental health therapist. I used to be on your side. I used to think she wanted to become a therapist to help people, but it kind of clicked for me recently that, like, she's not knowable, she's just nosy. She just wanted to meet a bunch of messy bitches and learn their secrets. Like, my wife got into therapy for the same reason she loves watching reality TV. The other day I heard her end a Zoom session with one of her patients. She's like, we're out of time, but we'll pick this up again in next week's episode. Next week's session. She's got every flavor of reality TV represented in her patient roster. She's got a hoarder, she's got a teen mom, she's got a rich wino housewife, and I'm the Andy Cohen she gossips about them with at the end of the night. She pours a glass of wine, she's like, you want to hear the tea? It's like, sure, that's a cute way to say HIPAA violation. Sure. It's not tea, it's trauma, babe. That's none of my business. She's like, relax, it's anonymous. I'm like, is it? Because you told me that one of your patients got court-mandated anger management for destroying a pride display at a Target in Saugus, Massachusetts. That feels pretty Googleable. I don't think you're protecting his identity properly. Yeah, we've been together a long time. We just celebrated our 10-year wedding anniversary. Thank you. Yeah, no, it feels big. I thought about having us renew our wedding vows, but the more I think about it, the more I think renewing your vows is something that becomes more and more romantic the longer you wait to do it. Right, because if you do it after 30 years, you're probably empty nesters, you're recommitting to each other now that the kids are out of the house. I think that's really sweet. You do it after 50 years, you're two soulmates who grew old together. That's really beautiful, right? But if you renew your vows after just 5 years, at least one of you had an affair. Probably both, if we're being honest. The invitation to that vow renewal is just a note to your friends and family that you've decided to close your open marriage. That's all. Because at that point you're just getting up there a few years in front of all the same people and being like, I promise to be faithful starting now. It's not a good look, right? I think a lot of times when someone has an affair, you see this a lot in movies and TV, their partner finds out, they confront them, and they're like, in our bed, you slept with them in our bed. You guys heard that? Yeah. Feels like the wrong thing to focus on. Let me get this straight. You betrayed my trust. You gave me chlamydia. And worst of all, you defiled our Bobapedic mattress. You son of a bitch. As though she was like, no, we did it on the couch. You'd be like, oh, well, then let's just renew our vows. Move on. We've been together, we've been married 10 years, together 16, so we've changed a lot over the years. Like I said, she's like a mature career woman now. But when we first got together, one night I had to take my wife to the ER because she drank way too much, and I was pretty sure she was going to have her stomach pumped. She probably could have benefited from a place like this, to be honest. But this was before we were even thinking about getting married or having a family or whatever. She was so drunk and so sick on the ride to the hospital that she was convinced she was going to die. She kept being like, I'm going to die. I'm like, you're not going to die. She's like, I'm going to die. I'm like, you're not going to die. She goes, name our daughter after me. How the fuck would that work, babe? What kind of daughter are you talking about, man? You're not even pregnant. And if you are, then we really gotta talk about your drinking. It's messed up. If I put myself in her shoes, I think what she was trying to say, right? I think what she was trying to say was that if she died and I remarried and have a kid with someone else, I should name that daughter after her. Feels like a pretty big ask for my new bride, you know? She goes into labor, I'm like, hey babe, I probably should have brought this up earlier, right? Oh, hey, do you mind if we name our daughter after my first wife who died from alcohol poisoning? Set that baby up for success in life, you know? Actually, last year we did have a baby girl, our first kid. Thank you, that's so nice, yeah. Her name is Lucy, which for the record is not my wife's name, but yeah, I'm loving having the kid, although when my wife first told me she was pregnant, I don't think I reacted the right way. I think she could tell I was panicking a little bit, because the first thing I said to her when she told me was, "Wow, babe, congrats." Like she hit on a scratch ticket or something. Not the right enthusiasm. I was pretty drunk and disoriented though, so I was like, "Are you sure?" And she showed me 3 positive pregnancy tests, and I was like, "Fuck, dude. Triplets?" And I'm really glad you guys like that, because she didn't. She was not in the mood for it. I'm a little worried I'm not going to be a good father, mostly because I haven't been a good uncle historically. Like, I'm not proud of this, but my sister asked me if I wanted to watch my nephews this weekend. I was like, do I want to watch my nephews? I don't even want to watch the videos you sent of my nephews. It's just very boring, man. It's like, you guys can probably tell from looking at me, I'm a very nerdy guy. I'm into Marvel and Star Wars and all that stuff. I don't like babysitting my nephews because I don't like watching them play with action figures that I know more about than they do. It's embarrassing. My nephew's like, woo! Like, Wolverine doesn't fly, John. The fuck's he fighting Batman? This doesn't make sense. Both good guys, they're not in the same universe. Even if they were narratively, there's no reason any of this would be happening. They're too similar thematically, even the colors are similar. One of them's black. But you know what? Give me my toys back, man. I earned these. I never really saw myself as a father growing up, to be honest, but the first time I held my baby girl in my arms, man, she did try to suck on my titty a little bit. So she doesn't see me as a father either, and it feels rude as shit to me, man. She hasn't even said her first words, she already made her first fat joke. Not cool. Also, what a wake-up call that is for me as a fat guy, right? My baby trying to suck on my titties. Like, I don't even think that's one of the options you can pick when they ask, what made you want to sign up for Weight Watchers today? Man, I had to click other and type that sentence into the box. It's humiliating. Tried to be a good partner throughout the pregnancy, got all the appointments and stuff. I remember one time we went to an ultrasound. Before the ultrasound, my wife had a small cup of coffee, which is supposedly fine for pregnant women, but we show up to the ultrasound and the baby is tweaking out of control. On the monitor, it was fucked up, man. It was jarring. My wife and I panicked. She was like, Jesus, should I stop drinking coffee? And I was like, you can't stop now, it's hooked. Like, cold turkey? You're out of your mind? You can't. I just think it's crazy that the baby was tweaking out that hard on a little bit of coffee because some pregnant women smoke crack. And that's terrible. You hate to see it, but I would like to see the ultrasound. What is that like, man? Is it just in there doing backflips and cartwheels and breaking into the placenta to steal shit? Placenta does kind of sound like a car, too. A little bit. Goddamn crack baby broke into my Kia placenta. As that kind of rings anyway. I'm really loving having the one kid, so much so that I would consider having 2 kids, except all my friends had 2 kids, and they seem miserable. I think there's a real diminishing returns thing that happens with kids, you guys. I think kids are like weed edibles, yeah. I think you have your first one, and after a little while, you're like, you know, I feel pretty good. I can probably handle another one of these. And then that second one kicks in, and you're like, oh no. What the fuck? Just crying in the corner. How long is this gonna last, man? Just misjudge your tolerance. Now you're on a bad trip for fucking 18 years. You know? It's brutal. I don't get a lot of sleep having a newborn, but I don't mind that. I've just been staying up late rewatching movies from my childhood. I rewatched Aladdin recently. Yeah, it's a good one. If you've never seen Aladdin, it's the story of a homeless orphan. A homeless orphan who finds a genie that is useless. I'm telling you guys, rewatch that movie. The genie is so much more useless than you remember. First two things he says to Aladdin are that he can't make anybody love him, and he can't bring anybody back from the dead. And if you took a survey of homeless orphans, those are going to be the top two wishes, and a pretty wide margin, I would imagine. At that point, I'm surprised Aladdin didn't just dropkick that lamp into the Persian Gulf. The genie has the audacity to tell him he can't wish for more wishes. Like, oh really? I can't wish for any more of these incredibly valuable, life-changing wishes. Even that rule feels weirdly anti-homeless to me. Like, I can just imagine someone being like, don't give him any wishes, he'll spend it on more wishes. You know?